here's my view of the London Riots, a topic that is so realistic, it's even better than an internet debate that nobody gives a shit about. So anyway, the London Riots destroyed towns, burned places alive, looters killed killed people, those 3 in Birmingham, that one guy that got murdered in London, a 68-year-old who tried to put fires out, he got his ass handed to him and he died. Horribly. Shame. 3 kids that unified a community in Birmingham after some twit run them over with a car. And that guy that got heckled by the crowd in Birmingham. Problem is though, they just don't understand. Again, this is kind of what's been building up for at least a decade's worth of New Labour mistakes that the Tories tried to work with and ultimately failed. Jobs that are going to other nationals in the /EU/rest of the world. Housing is going to immigrants that don't really need it. Just because Britain is a safe place. To be honest, it's not a safe place anymore. Not with all the bullshit that's going on. Especially these riots that's been happening. 3. We are poor, yet we're being controlled. Unfortunately, bad news is that even if the Tories even this entire debate making David Cameron look like a complete utter fool, there's one problem with that. In the opposition is the very party that's caused the entire thing in the first place. A New Labour legacy of mass immigration, giving away all our earnings for cheap. Thank you, Gordon Brown, you beep. The bank's going nuts because Gordon Brown gave them the free rein to do so, which caused us to be why we're suffering right now. Quality of life, dumbed down education, and by the way, just because you had a GCSE grade doesn't mean that the entire thing was dumbed down just because most of you are stupid to even bother. When I earned my GCSEs, they were average to hard. I earned those with pride. The problem is, though, we have a welfare state. A welfare state that does not like change. Sadly, this is probably one of the reasons why the riots happened in the first place. Welfare claimants that have families to feed, that should not have families to feed, draining away our money. Everything else for that matter. It's just stupid. People that are honestly earning welfare because sometimes they're afraid to actually work, they can't handle social economic situations, those people are going to be dragged and victimized for this one, all because of a bunch of fucking chavs that decide to loot a store and steal cameras, trainers, and God knows other meaningless items like flat screen TVs. Unfortunately for this one, I actually have a decent TV that is in use, so I just want to get out of the way. Really? What we could do with a Save Britain Foundation is pretty much... Oh yeah, speaking of which, there's an e-petition that's going around the net at the moment. In the DirectGov website, there's an e-petition that's currently being labelled for the Department of Work and Pensions that says that, I'm pretty sure it's nearly 100,000, which is the required cap for the Backbenchers Committee to take a look at it. Before if it gets approval, then the House of Commons has to talk about it automatically. You know, this e-petition system forced the House of Commons to actually talk about the death penalty for the first time in at least, 8 years? A decade at least? And that was under Labour. So as I said before, New Labour is pretty much the reason why the riots happened. 10 years worth of resentment, bitterness and hatred, and an excuse for the gangs, the youths, and pretty much all the feral children that pretty much gave them an excuse to loot and rob and kill people. Also hurt the police. Fortunately, rubber bullets and water cannons aren't going to work. Sometimes we need mounted police. And as you know, mounted police are more effective than regular police. What happens if there's a riot policeman on a battle horse? Yep, I would not be facing that. I would fucking shit myself. Because pretty much battle horses can kill regular rioters. Just pretty much 1,000 people arrested, 600 people at least 1,000 arrested, 600 convicted, which includes an Olympic ambassador, which made me facepalm because we're hosting the damn thing next year. If we can easily recover our culture's opinion, I really don't think this is gonna help. Rioters, you picked a very, very... Either the rioters were stupid, coordinated, or they knew that when the government officials went on holiday, they decided to strike. Like now. And this is what happens when pretty much one guy could lead to an entire city burning to the ground. Yeah, I think I've rambled on long enough. But what could really happen is if instead of charging the rioters for rioting offences, they could go after the parents as well for pretty much parental negligence. Give them fines and anything else. I mean, just now, when the councils they were threatened to throw any rioters and their families out, they weren't kidding. They just threw out one council, just threw out one family already. And I think it won't be the first, and it certainly won't be the last one either. So, basically, that's just generally it, really. I'm not going to make any more videos on the entire subject, and I'm going to take the weekend off so I can actually spend at least a few days relaxing, watching videos, and playing some Blue Dragon on the Xbox. Or play some Dragon Quest, Journey of the Cursed King for PS2. I found that again, and I actually thought it's a unique game anyway. So, I'll see you all next week. Until then, see ya.